From the motorbikes being hit by the Yagi wind and the animals being swept high into the sky, the terrible dragon wind and the company's corrugated iron buildings being blown away in an instant, everything seemed like the end of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam has never witnessed a terrible natural disaster like this. A terrible disaster just hit Vietnam when Storm Yagi from Hainan, China, bringing wind gusts of level 17, swept into the region, central of our country. The scene of destruction covers from north to south. High-rise buildings collapsed and many companies were swept away. People were caught in a spiral of despair as the wind and rain seemed to collapse the sky to the ground. Currently, the number of missing and injured people has reached nearly 1,000. Rescue teams are desperately searching for survivors under the rubble, amid screams and sounds of nature's fury. A woman did not hide when she lost everything. The school's roof was blown away in seconds. A large ship worth nearly $1 million being blown by wind and water under the harbor waters seemed scary. Rain, floods, and windstorms not only take lives, but also completely destroy the road that passes through high-rise buildings, schools, bridges, cars. Everything is drifting in Vietnam. I have never witnessed such a terrible storm, such a terrible natural disaster. Trees. On the road, the wind is unbearable for 1 minute with the force of the wind and the flying sheet of metal, if it hits a person, can cause death at any time in a crowded city, turning into ashes. Where life and death are only an inch apart, Yagi turned this place into a sea of blood and tears. Weak people struggled against the terrible force of nature, while floodwaters swallowed entire villages and towns. The cries of those who lost everything, from family, friends, to hope, echoed in the dark, rainy night. Everyone could only pray as the rain and wind continued to pour down endlessly. From bustling neighborhoods, only the skeletons of ruined buildings remain. The number of missing people is up to 1,000, and this number shows no signs of stopping. The largest bridge in Vietnam. The leaves of the fine art bridge have stars painted in this storm. It could be hit or damaged. Some of it is shaking. Supermarket gourd trees planted by the government have fallen all along the road, leaving only coconut trees. But also caused roof panels to burst open and scatter out. Most frightening of all, the storm created small tornadoes, sweeping away everything they touched. Cars were thrown into the air like toys. I could clearly see the debris being swept up high, bobbing in the air like fragments of an apocalypse. At the wedding, the bride and uncle turned right and burst into tears. Before they could do anything, the storm had already arrived. The roof almost looks like it wants to fly up. The rare trees along the road that are nearly 50 years old have been uprooted. Majestic mountains, usually wild and peaceful, have now become haunting images. The storm not only caused heavy rains, but also created intense flash floods, sweeping away everything in its path. Rocks, trees and small villages suddenly became giant piles of rubble. The houses, which were home to hundreds of families, are now just piles of scrap wood. The helicopter flew up high and filmed to see, on my God, all I have is the past. Beautiful and majestic scenery. Now all I have is the river and water. Before my eyes was a heartbreaking scene of desolation where rescue teams were battling harsh weather and unimaginable devastation. Rescue workers are trying to rescue poor people trapped in the flash flood. That scene is like an apocalyptic picture where human life is being pushed to its final limit. On the way, and the goods in the company were turned into waste. The people in the mountains also managed to escape to a safe place, and the scene of the landslide was terrible.
Xe ô tô liều quá, ôi không đi được đâu. Mày đi ngay đây này. Em tụt xuống dưới này, chết
The
người đấy
mountain
rồi
road
này.
that classic cars often pass through has been cut
Ra
off.
đường luôn. Đấy, đi ứng cứu kiểu gì đây, sao vượt qua được.
Heroes in Vietnam are waiting to rescue the people. The banana farmer couldn't cry when he was devastated. He only knew how to eat to regain strength to replant a new banana garden. The war against nature has temporarily ended this difficulty. Faced with disaster, the human spirit will always be resilient and strong. Click like to support and share your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the latest weather updates, life stories, hello, and see you again in the next video.